my Sagittarian collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs. Welcome to your Path of True Love reading for December-ish / timeless 2019. I am your reader, Mark Angelo Lyons, Mal for short, president of Join the Circle Productions, professional witch, professional intuitive, and really happy to be reading for you today. I've made these readings timeless, but have to give them sort of a little bit of a timestamp. I've seen other readers do that. I'm like, yeah, because people are watching readings from mine from months ago. So it's all when you're supposed to see it, right? Divine plan, divine timing, quantum threads, all of that. So welcome, welcome. If you are new to my channel, please do like and subscribe, making my way to 1,000 subscribers so that I can do super live chat with the promise that for the first couple of months, once a month, I will do Drunk Tarot. Go watch some of the other vids. I explain it deeper there. Maybe I'll do like a clarifying vid called Drunk Tarot, because I never drink when I'm working professionally. It's just for fun, but the clarity doesn't go away, just the edit function does. Yeah, not for the weak stomachs, right? Not for the weak at heart. Let's talk a little bit before I get into the reading about what this is. First of all, this is a general reading, not a personal reading. I have 2 clients coming to the house today for personal readings, and my goodness gracious, can I zone in on them like GPS, right? Can I get details for them? No. This is a general reading for Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs. That's hundreds of thousands of people in the collective, if not more. So not every reading is going to resonate with everybody. That's why I always do Sun, Moon, Rising as a foundation for a zodiacal series, you know, Aries through Pisces, Pisces through Aries. With Venus for relationship stuff, Mercury for retrogrades, you sort of get the idea. So please do check the other signs. You know, you'll hear people say, well, take what resonates, leave what doesn't. Well, how do you know it resonates? How does it feel in your body? If it's like a high positive or a high negative, and by high negative, it's like you go, there's a piece of truth there, right? It's if you're triggered, that's your nervous system, your intuition, your soul telling you, pay attention to this. There's something in this. You don't have to like it. Just make note of it, right? So certainly do check your other signs, particularly on the path of true love, twin flame, soulmate reads, stuff like that, because there's so many pieces to the puzzle. It is mystical, meaning that it's steeped in spiritual divine mystery. So the best you can do is look for the clues, follow them, apply them, and garner wisdom as you go, making better, more empowering choices as you go, excuse me, as my contact lens decides it wants a life of its own. There we go. Lovely, lovely. Let's see. What else, right? This is timeless, general. Oh, Path of True Love readings are about you. Yes, other people may be involved because the Path of True Love is essentially your healing path, your spiritual path, your growth path, did I say hero's journey? Because it is a total hero's journey. It takes the courage of a warrior's heart and a hero's soul. All of that through the lens of your relationships. Intimate, romantic, sexual, familial, work relationships, friends. That's why I'll do the soulmate contract reads next, and then I'll follow that with the twin flames, because they're not the same thing. This is about you, Path of True Love. Where are you on the path? What's going on for you on the path of true love? Focused somewhat on December 2019, but also, you know, in the sense of whenever you're supposed to get the info, you get the info. Cool, cool. Let the gods and the angels and all that guide you to it. All the decks that I read are in the description box below. So please, it's all the way at the bottom. All the decks I read, all the ones there, I don't do in every single reading. But every time I add a new deck to my coterie, my armory of divination, I add that down in there. And do have a look-see. My 2 ebooks are on there, Spell Ingredients, as well as Words of Grace. I was writing that this time last year, saved my life, that book. There are some videos on there, Vimeo.com. There's some of my own stuff clarifying. There's even a Matt Kahn video. He's my favorite spiritual teacher at the moment. Go check him out, because that's what I'm a spiritual teacher first and foremost. Been reading cards longer. But what we do is we learn stuff, right? We always don't have to reinvent the wheel. But when something comes along, we try it out for ourselves. We run it through our own process, nervous system practice, and we pass on what works for us. That's how it rolls, right? So go have a look-see, Dooksy. Is that it? Oh, please remember to breathe. The importance of breath with all of this stuff cannot be overestimated. It's so important that you focus on the breath as often as you can. I mean, you're going to breathe anyway, but with every inhale, you bring in all the guidance, all the grace, all the spirit, all the chi, all the prana that you need for that inhale, right? All the blessings that you need for that very moment. And then you exhale anything that's ready to go in that moment, little by little, as well as all those blessings you breathe in, you breathe out. So think of that every time you're consciously breathing in a blessing and then sending it out, right? May all children be blessed and protected, right? If there's someone in particular, may this person be healed, right? You can even do it silently. So that's what keeps the guidance and the grace flowing as I read, is to remember to breathe. So occasionally you might hear me say, which is usually them saying through me, breathe! Also slows me down so I'm not such a jackhammer, because I can be. Yeah, I have 2 half-hour readings today in person, and in a half-hour reading I can try and jam an hour's worth of info into a half hour, and it's not great for the client, and I'm fucking exhausted afterwards. Right? Breathe. Come into alignment with your breath. I think we're ready. Ready? Here we go. If anybody wants to timestamp it, now would be a good time to do that. Here we go, my Sagittarians. Breathe. My collective pantheons of angels, goddesses, gods, masters, and the higher selves of all involved. Please, one card, one Caroline Myss archetype card to represent this Sagittarian collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign on the path of true love. Timeless, but somewhat focused on December 2019. What is the soul power? The dominant soul power that they have the opportunity to alchemize from lead to gold to bring shadow into light for their own healing and process and progress on the path of true love. For this reading, what do you got for us? Oh, the detective. I have a touch of the detective. It's not really dominant in me. But let's just say it's really fucking hard to keep secrets from me, to hide things, to deceive me. It depends on how covert you are. It depends on how good of a liar you are, because I want to see the good in everybody. And I'm trained to see the soul. I am trained to see the innocence of the child, of the divine heart within. So you can pull the shit over on me for a while, but after a while my guides are like, okay, now you need to investigate this. And I do. So let's talk about the detective family here. The detective archetype, I believe it is in the wisdom family, right? Because they're trying to garner wisdom through experience, kind of solve the mystery. Now, every archetype is shadow and light, lead and gold. So we're going to have a look at the lead and then the gold, the shadow, and then the light. So for the detective in the shadow, voyeurism really usually has a sexual connotation to it, like a voyeur, like someone who's watching somebody have sex, but covert, like completely hidden. But also just sort of like voyeur, like a lot of reality TV is that, right? The Real Housewives have named the place. It's like, oh, there's such a hot mess, right? So there's no sense of helping or getting involved or healing there. But that thing of voyeurism, but also falsifying information, that you will gather evidence as a detective, and then twist it, turn it to your own personal agenda that you wouldn't want people to know that you're doing that, which is how you know what a shadow agenda is. You wouldn't want anybody to know about it. You wouldn't want it broadcast all over, TV and on social media. That's how you know what a shadow is. Yeah. The light attribute, great powers of observation and intuition. Underline that word, intuition in your mind. Observation and intuition. Desire to seek out the truth. Now look, I have that in spades, the desire to seek out the truth. And yet for me, it's often spiritual truth, unless somebody's fucking with me, right? Unless somebody's like literally trying to pull wool over my eyes, deceive me, try and sell me something that's not worth its weight in crap, let alone gold. But that's my gut down here will tell me something is off. Well, this can be off in la la land. This will tell me something. So remember, if what they're saying doesn't match what you're feeling here, something's up. Investigate, right? Be a private investigator, a detective. That's going to be sort of the main energy for you. Everything else is going to more or less relate to that. And to clarify the lead and the gold on that card, I'm using the Chuck Spezzano Love Pack. Baby, Love Pack. Love, baby. That's where it's pack. Yeah. We've got half of the deck here, the problem suit, or as I like to call them, the Debbie Downer deck. Womp, 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 womp. Right? Helpful, though, to get clarity on what the problem is. What's the problem connected to the lead, the shadow. And then the other half of the deck are the suits of luck, healing, and grace, right? So that's going to be what's sort of attached or connected to the gold. So let's get the shadow first for this detective archetype. Ready? Breathe. Please, my Ascended Masters, one card in clarity. For the shadow aspect of this detective archetype, voyeurism and falsifying information, what is the problem? What is an indication? Clarify some of the lead. What's going on here for this Sagittarian collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign detective archetype? Okay, independence, right? So a thing of pulling back. Now, there is healthy independence, which is about, setting boundaries and self-estimation. Self-esteem is a verb, not a noun. knock it off thinking you can have it. It's something you do, right? It is a verb. How are you estimating yourself? I'm doing the best that I can. Learning, healing, doing my best as I go. That's like healthy self-estimation. High self-esteem, low self-esteem. Sociopaths have high self-esteem. Not necessarily healthy, right? So this thing of independence, when it's a problem, it's really saying, no, fuck you. No, leave me alone. Not only is this person, right, canoed, I think they're in a canoe? Yeah, well, a boat, right? Like they rowboated themselves to this deserted island. They're pushing the boat back into the water. Leave me the fuck alone, right? So there might be a thing there, a connection to obviously some sort of wound, some sort of pain, some sort of betrayal, something like that, where it's like, no. Now, that's fine if you're going into hermit time. I love me some hermit time. I am a Virgo. Cross your legs. I love my my solitary time. I don't call it lonely time. I don't call it alone time alone. I call it solitary time, right? Like almost like solitary confinement, but by my own choice. This does not feel like this. This feels nearly defensive, like independence in the sense of, well, I don't need anybody. Yeah, you do. Everybody needs everybody, right? We're all one. That's fifth dimensional unity consciousness. I love how the millennials have decided to call it fifth dimensional unity consciousness instead of just unity consciousness, which goes back to the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, right? How far back do you want to go? But, we are all one, and your vibration affects the all, and the vibration of the all, it's all interconnected, right? So keep that in mind if you're feeling that independence, because remember, there's healthy independence as, I guess, opposed to codependence or dependency of any kind. This is really more coming from a place of perhaps entitlement, feeling it in the solar plexus here, perhaps some wrath, right? Just like, fuck you all. Feel that. Very solar plexus. So let's get a piece of the gold here. Breathe. Does clear the field so instantly, doesn't it? My Ascended Masters, please, one card in clarity. For the Sagittarian collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign detective archetype. Please clarify the light attribute here. Great powers of observation and intuition. Desire to seek out the truth. Please clarify that. And we've got one of the luck cards, responsiveness. Now, what's great about this is if it is temporary independence, in order to clear your response, that's a different story. It can still be, I am going to go within myself first. That the first thing I'm going to do in this situation is I'm going to pull back. And I'm going to deal with my own wrath, my own sense of entitlement, my own toxicity. I'm going to go in and detective work, find the clues, figure that out, because chances are whatever is triggering this for this month, before or after, timeless, that it has its roots somewhere in the past, has its roots in unfinished business somewhere within you. So it might very well just be a trigger. Not that you need to go in with, a spelunking hat and, a magnifier and a pair of tweezers and tweeze out every painful experience that's ever happened to you. No, but to kind of go inside and get, let me deal with my reaction first, right? Let me not diffuse it, but let it have its voice. in safe space, right? No one needs to know about it. I'm going to go behind castle wall. That's the way I look at it. The castle of the soul is defined by St. Teresa of Avila. I'm going to pull up the drawbridge and I'm going to rage. I'm going to let all this, I'm going to let that inner child of mine have its say. Let its voice be heard. Let its spleen be vented on nobody in particular, maybe everybody in particular, but behind castle walls I will contain it, right? I will bless it with grace. There's a lot of that in my book, Words of Grace. It's necessary. It's emotional exorcism, loving what arises, if you want to Metcon it, right? So that I can then be responsive, but as a response then, it's going to be about using your intuition and your powers of observation to seek out the truth. Cool, cool. Now we're going to give you a timeline, past, present, future, where you've been on the path of true love, where you are on the path of true love, where you're going on the path of true love. We're going to take 3 Daughters of the Moon Tarot to start with, and then we're going to clarify those 3 with 3 of the Mythic Tarot, right? Please breathe. My Sagittarius asses, breathe. My goddesses, please, 1 card in clarity for this Sagittarian collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign on the path of true love. Where have they been? 1 card for the past. Where have they been? Just for context, where have they been on the path of true love? Okay, well, let me get them all out first. My goddesses, please, 1 card in clarity for the Sagittarian collective. Where are they on the path of true love at the moment of watching this reading? Okay, we've got 2 court cards so far. Can indicate other people, maybe, maybe not. We'll see. My goddesses, please, 1 card in clarity. Where is this Sagittarian collective going on the path of true love? Understanding that it's all quantum, that things can change depending on their choices, their decisions, their vibration, which timeline they're traveling on. But at least a clear indication like GPS. Where are they headed? Where are they going on the path of true love? Okay, got it. Okay, so we've got some tricky cards here, which would make sense with the detective archetype. So the past, where you've been on the path of true love, is the Scorpio card, Hecate, often about going into the underworld, which would make sense with this independence card, right? I don't always read, in fact, I rarely read court cards as actual people, although certainly that's valid. But even if this does refer to someone with, I don't know, Scorpio, Sun, Moon, Rising, whatever, it's still something that drove you into yourself, something that went deep into the Scorpio 8th house, dealing with money, sex, power, issues, internal stuff, hidden stuff, right? It's one of the 2 highly mystical signs, Pisces and Scorpio, something hidden, right? Fixed, fertile water, which can be stagnant, but if you think like, to say swamp water, but like pond water, right? It's like it's got algae, it's got stuff growing in it, but stuff you can't see under the surface. So perhaps that's part of this withdrawal, going inside. Hecate, goddess of the crossroads, goddess of of witches, right? Elder Titan, right? One of those. She wasn't an Olympian; she was a Titan. In Olympia, in Egyptian mythology, she was seen as Hecate, H-E-K-A-T, the frog-headed goddess. Absolutely about water, absolutely about healing, but deep stuff in the subconscious. Remember, we're going to clarify that with the mythical tarot. So whether or not that is a Scorpio person doesn't really matter. In your past, where you've been on the path of true love, is a lot of internal transformation, like the Death card, but not, right? It's not a major arcana. It is a court card, but often Queen of the Crossroads, Goddess of the Crossroads, talk about a life-changing decision, perhaps the decision to fuck this. I've repeated this too many times. Let's go into the control panel. It's a good way to say it. Now, where you are, interestingly enough, is Gemini, self-expression, communication. Now again, could involve somebody who's a Gemini, Sun, Moon, Rising, Uranus, who knows? That's in your personal situation. You'll know that in your gut if that's going on for you right now or in the more immediate future. But really what I'm seeing here, particularly because of Sagittarius, again, they're showing me the pulling, the notching of an arrow, pulling it back on the bow. It's like you're going in, you've been going in, pulling the arrow back in to then let the communication, the self-expression fly. Now, keep in mind, the arrow flying is response, not reaction. Response is considered. Reaction is instant. It's like reflex, right? It's like being triggered, right? But the response is, okay, let me take this behind castle walls. Let me work on this. Let me love what rises. Let me deal with that inner child. Let me alchemize my own personal lead into gold, and then I will respond, right? It's like someone sends you an email and they call you out on something, and your immediate reaction is, well, fuck you and the horse you rode in on, right? But then, like, okay, that's probably more about past stuff than what's really going on in the present moment. How does this serve me? That's a responsive question. How is this helping me? Is there any truth here, or is this total 100% projection? Now look, when people blame you for things, they're not happy. It's obvious, really, but if you take that into consideration, they're probably projecting their own stuff onto you. So that's where the detective comes in. Are they revealing something about themselves? That they may be in pain that they don't know that they're in, and they don't know what to do about it, right? That they're just not happy in life in general, happy with themselves. So oftentimes we become unwitting targets, right? So then with this card of communication, with responsiveness, it may be time to say, you know, I value your communication. I just don't agree with it, and that's okay. But here's what I learned from it, and I want to thank you for being honest with me about how you feel, because it's obvious how you feel in this. But then again, there were some things in there that really did hit home, that triggered me, that I am looking at and working on, right? That's an adult communication, right? But now here's the shit, where you're headed. Now, don't be freaked out by the key word written on the card, which is jealousy. It's the Seven of Cups. Seven of Cups, right? Classic tarot, right? Rider-Waite tarot. Cups in the sky, right? Cups in the sky. Well, do I want that one? Or do I want that one? Or do I want that one? Now, options, right? Some of them just pure fantasy, right? Made of nothing, stuff and nonsense. Others, real intuitive pulls. How do you know the difference? Well, you want to be the detective. Use your powers of observation and really develop that intuitive process as you go. But I think when we're talking about jealousy at all, since it comes up, again, we'll see what cards clarify this. It's all about that child of your heart, right? Really, the inner child is your emotional field. It's your emotional heart. It just is. Just is. Talk to it, because when it gets jealous, different than envy. Envy is a deadly sin. Jealousy is like envy aid, right? It's just totally watered down. I'm so jelly. It's that thing of, when the fuck is it my turn? Right? Everybody's got that. When is it my turn? How come they have that? They haven't wanted that as much as I do, blah, blah, blah. The mind spins and rationalizes, right? Which kind of keeps you from moving forward on it. So if that is what's coming for you, not really feeling that with the cards that are on the table for you massages, but maybe dealing with someone else's jealousy that way, which is probably more likely. Just kind of get that that's that child inside of them that wants something so much that they don't have it yet, and they don't know how to get it. It's like, again, they're in pain. They don't know they're in pain, and they don't know what to do about it because they don't know they're in pain. You can know that without telling them that, right? You can be very compassionate and just kind of say, you have all these options. Seven of Cups. You have all these options. This time I took for myself, maybe, right? Like that independence, pulling back, doing this healing, growing, healing, expanding. Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, the planet of expansion, right? Jupiterian, right? Higher knowledge, metaphysics, spirituality. That's Sag in a nutshell. Though it's hard to trap Sag in a nutshell. Keep an eye out for the jealousy of others, because it might be triggering you, but it might not be about you. Which is why we're going to use the Mythic Tarot. Juliet Sharman Burke's deck. Love it so much. My gods, Zeus in particular, who sits solo in the throne of Sagittarius. Please, one card in clarity for this Scorpio. Hecate card. Where they have been for this Sagittarius collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign. Where they have been on the path of true love. Please breathe with me, Sages. One card in clarity, please. Clarify this Scorpio card for the Sages. Okay, Three of Wands, waiting for your ships to come in, right? You've got everything, your bags are packed, but the ship has not come in yet. There's a thing of loyalty there, right? Of giving all, somebody giving all they have, their crown, in this case to Jason and the Argonauts, in order to complete his quest of retrieving the golden fleece. So that thing sort of going within, in a sense, rebuilding, preparing, right? Going into the underworld, making the decision to kind of wait this out, to do whatever process to get yourself ready. Stronger than the 2, which is about planning and preparation. This is, okay, now it's just about really all the resources are gathered. We're at ready. We are set. Go has not quite happened yet, right? So there's a sense of loyalty waiting, but hopefully loyalty to the self, loyalty to what you are receiving intuitively as a detective archetype. The pulling back, right? The pulling back of the arrow on the bow. So please. Wow, just getting a flash of a Sagittarian friend of mine. Okay. My God, Zeus in particular, please, one card in clarity for this Gemini card here, where they are on the path of true love. Oh, right, Sagittarius and Gemini are opposite signs. Right, I get it. So particularly, this might be a little uncomfortable, but it's a complementary opposite, right? It's Sagittarius is fire, Gemini is air. So there might be a little bit of time, like balancing the shot, right, before you let go of, because both are impulsive as fuck, right? Sagittarius and Gemini, but for very different energies. One fire, one air. What's going on over there, boys? Kitties are having a fun Sunday morning. All right, so my gods, please, one card in clarity for this Scorpio. For this Sagittarian collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus. There they go. Venus sign on the path of true love. Where are they right now in terms of this Scorpio, of this Gemini card? All right, well, Zeus, there it is, the Emperor. That's literally Zeus in this deck. The one who sits solo in the throne of Sagittarian. We'll take that there. That this is about waiting to hurl lightning. Like, my sense is your intuitive truth, right? In the past, you've sort of been garnering it, building it, waiting, pulling back on the bow. This is loosing the arrow. This is speaking truth. Now, the thing about Sagittarians are, bless their hearts, they can't not speak the truth sometimes, very impulsively, oftentimes without, and no offense, no tea, no shade, no pink lemonade, not a lot of finesse, not a lot of diplomacy. But I think in this situation, on the path of true love, how do you deal with this as a healthy emperor, not a tyrant, right? Can you balance the fire, earth, air, and water? Because the emperor is the conglomeration of all 4 kings in the suit. The king of swords, the king of wands, the king of cups, the king of pentacles. Can you bring all of that into balance and express from that place? Because light is truth. So even when you look at, for example, the card of the Tower, right? It's usually truth that takes down the false structure. Just saying. Yeah. Let's clarify this card of the 7 of Cups. My gods, please, Zeus in particular, please clarify the 7 of Cups, called jealousy, but need not be their own. Might be the jealousy of someone else. Please clarify this 7 of Cups for this Sagittarian collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign. Where are they going on the path of true love relative to this reading? Oh, another major arcana card, the Wheel of Fortune, the Fates. One who spins the thread of fate and destiny, one who measures it, one who cuts it. Certainly about a progression of time. Now, you put the 7 of Cups together with the Wheel of Fortune, that means one thing. You put jealousy together with the Wheel of Fortune, that means another. It's like I said, when is it my turn? 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 So if this is you coming into a field of jealousy, first of all, let's get some things clear. You haven't done anything wrong. It's probably not so much about the present situation as the present situation. Use your detective skills. Say, okay, is this really a clue about a current crime, or is this reminding me of something that's happened before, or is it Both. Usually it's both, right? The emotional charge of it, right? That 7 of Cups. You have options here, and options that will change your destiny. Now, there's a difference between fate and destiny, okay? Fate is what you can't change. Destiny is what happens when you take the hero's journey, right? Are honorable, are honest, are diligent, are courageous, be brave. Did I say honorable, honorable, honorable? Look, you get to choose whether or not you want to be a hero or a villain every moment of your life. And that's true for all of us. It's part of the quantum. Look where we are on the planet right now, where so much shadow is being exposed. You just can't get away with villainy the way you used to. So it's your opportunity. How do you want to deal with, if this is not your jealousy, the jealousy of someone else? You're having an opportunity to move forward, to turn the wheel of fortune, to grow, to heal, to learn, and maybe not have to repeat this pattern, not just, again, through your own actions, but what you heal in your interior world. You with me? Interesting timeline, past, present, future. Let's ask the angels. Only 3 more cards down. We're only doing 12 cards in total here, and then we'll do your review. Healing with the Angels Oracle, Doreen Virtue. My angels, please, 1 card, a celestial overview. We love the point of view of the angels, something simplifying, something easier to carry with us in the mind as we breathe. Please, my angels, 1 card in clarity for this Sagittarian collective sun, moon, rising. Venus sign on the path of true love for December-ish, timeless 2019. Abundance. Now, abundance to me really means extra, right? It's like, oh, she's so abundant. Another way of saying it's like, oh, she's so extra. He's so extra. Sure, it's associated with money most of the time, but look, this angel's playing a lute. 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 Right? That there is a thing of comfort here. There is a thing of extra, of surplus. Yes, that can be physical. But in a path of true love spread, that can also mean an abundance of clues for a detective, an abundance of intuition, a heightened sense of something. That this 7 of Cups, for example, might be a bit dramatic. So keep an eye on that. That in some way the angels are saying, look to your abundance. Look at what you already have, right? Look at what you've already garnered in terms of your own wisdom. And I'm pretty sure the detective archetype, if it's not wild card, it's wisdom family. Right? Would it be action family? I don't know. I'll have to do the research on that. I used to know them all by heart, but come on, it's only so much processing room up there as you get older. Yeah, because peace comes in. You merge with the divine as you get older if you're doing it right. You embody that. You don't need as much stuff in stored memory. You're told in the moment. Let's ask the higher selves what they see about all of this. The voices of the higher selves of all involved, using the Whispers of Love Oracle, which I love so much. Oh, the higher selves of all concerned. Please, 1 card for this Sagittarian collective, sun, moon, rising, Venus sign. What's going on for them on the path of true love, this detective archetype here? December-ish 2019, sort of timeless whenever they're watching this. Please, a whisper of love. Look to your inner strength. I feel like that's what this abundance is about. Like, look to your inner strength, and your inner strength in this read, at least, for this timeline, we're talking about great powers of observation and intuition. Observe and feel. Observe and feel. Maybe don't communicate right yet, although that's indicated there with that Gemini card with the Emperor. You are stronger than you realize. Look to your inner strength, right? Right next to that abundance card, it's like you have what you need to get through this. You can endure this, which means it's probably not as great, big, huge as you think it might be, although with 2 major arcana cards on the table, I could feel the extra, right? The extra voltage around that. Let's end the reading with the Journey of Love Oracle card. I love this deck. If you've been watching my reads lately, they're not in every reading because I have to read it from the book. Why? because there's poetry involved, and I'm not memorizing all these poems. There's a poem for each card. There's a defining of the card, and then there's an oracular meaning, like what it means, what the oracle's trying to tell you. It's a lot to memorize. No, not doing it. Besides, the author and the poet and the artist do a brilliant job of it, right? Credit where credit is due. We started with the collective pantheons. We end with the collective pantheons. Please breathe with me, my Sagittarians. Right? It's like pull it back, absorb it, send it out. Oh, my collective pantheons of angels, goddesses, gods, masters, and the higher selves of all involved. Oh, please. One card in clarity for the Sagittarian collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign on the path of true love. Please. Where are they on the path of true love using a journey of love oracle card? Oh, this feels lovely. My heart just opened. Here it is. Her Grace. This one has come up recently too. It's totally about the divine feminine. Pardon me. I did quit smoking, so this is like what, my first week and a half maybe, so still coughing up a little. Dairy, I do put half and half in my coffee. Number 17, Her Grace. Yes, Your Grace. Her Grace. This is a quickie, all right? 17, 7, 1, 7 and 1 makes 8, which is a number of manifestation. Who cares? The goddess is awakening within your life. It may be within your own body, within a sensual deepening of relationship with your own body, or with the body of another through expanding creativity, a sudden burst of feeling that you cannot logically explain, a desire to move, to dance, to express yourself, to sing, to write music, to draw, to play in nature, to swim, and to collect shells and lie on your back in the moonlight gazing at the stars, along with writing a really, really long run-on sentence. I was raised by a teacher. You know, and that is also your body is telling you something, right? The divine feminine, right? The goddess is awakening within you. That's the intuitive voice as well. What's going on in your body? What's rising up from within? Let her reach you. She is calling to you from ancient times, calling you to allow her more deeply into your life. Celebrate the divine feminine. She is coming to life for you. Whether man or woman, your life is about to be touched by her magic, never to be the same again. So that's, of course, transformation, which is indicated in that Scorpio card. But it's on the inner, so it may not reveal itself on the outer, hence needing to go with your powers of interior observation. How are you feeling? What's going on in your emotional, intuitive, inner sensory world, right? The world of the soul. This oracle brings you a message. There is a woman who brings divine blessing into your life who is trying to connect with you more deeply. The blessing may be one that is obvious or one that is hidden in a challenge, which is more of my feeling for this, right? It's like the blessing is kind of what you learn as you navigate your way through this as the detective archetype. The woman may be your own body if you are female, or your own inner feminine if you are male. So it doesn't matter about bodily gender. It may be a spiritual or physical being, meaning it could be a goddess of some kind, an angel of feminine spirit, an ancestor. The great, or it could be a physical being, the great mother, meaning the great goddess, your lover, your sister, or your dearest friend. It may be a woman as yet unknown to you, but who holds a soul contract with you, an agreement predestined to awaken you. So really could be anybody is what it's saying. The empowerment will come to you not by rejecting what is offered by this feminine presence, but by embracing it and finding your truth through it. Desire to seek out the truth. This really feels like this is about your own inner knowing. The divine feminine, the goddess speaking through you, through your body, through your intuitive faculties. And remember, intuition and self-estimation are linked, right? Because it's your intuition, it's your gut hunch, it's what you are downloading. So to value that, to accept, embrace, act on that it is an act of self-estimation in and of itself. You run your truth through it. This is exciting because it means you are growing. You are entering into the feminine temples of wisdom and finding a home there. In other words, there is something so right on about you not just receiving your intuition, learning how to respond to it, respond with it, loosing it with that card of the Emperor with Gemini, really like speaking the truth, and really fast too, right? Like Knight of Swords rushes in like wham, but considered more of a response, and know that they may trigger somebody else's jealousy, perhaps jealousy that was hidden, a hidden motivation for them, and that moves the wheel forward. Here's the poem. Please breathe. I was born long before our time, and yet my time with you is something new. For you awaken in me a spirit that was longing for release, waiting for your touch. I thought I was safe to stay inside the boundaries and walls I carried with me. You touched all of me, and we walked outside the lines together. Right, so really talking about a process of taking the journey, but this divine feminine rising up from within really feels like your case does not feel like it's so much about a physical woman, possibly a visitation from a divine feminine being, not necessarily in physical form, fifth dimension or higher kind of deal, but regardless whether it's spirit guide, goddess, your mother, a friend, the voice of your own intuition, please do pay attention. Let's give you your overview, shall we? Magic clap. We start with the detective archetype in the shadow, voyeurism, falsifying information. Keep an eye on that. Please keep an eye on that. That this is your own intuitive process going on. Do not falsify information or just watch to get dirt on people. This is different. This is a soul level thing on the path of true love. The light attribute, great powers of observation and intuition, desire to seek out the truth. Now connected to that shadow attribute of voyeurism and falsifying information is that independence. Perhaps you've pulled back a little too far into your independence in order to protect yourself, and therefore are perhaps distorting some of the intuitive stuff that you are gathering, or maybe you're just going purely by how things look, not by how things feel. But with the card of responsiveness connected to the gold, of great powers of observation and intuition, desire to seek out the truth, that you're able to respond in a way that intuitively helps you discover truth, your truth, the truth in the situation, but ultimately with that card of her grace, something really clear and intuitive from the divine feminine about truth, perhaps, in general. Looking at our timeline here, we've got the Scorpio card, the Crone of Cups, Hecate, goddess of the crossroads, goddess of witches, obviously a card of deep interior emotional transformation, going into the underworld voluntarily in order to embrace and alchemize that which needs healing, perhaps some of the toxins that bar or at least obscure our own deeper truth and intuition. And with that Three of Wands, an ongoing process, a loyalty, a gathering of your forces, but still waiting for some ships to come in. There's, of course, a piece of patience in there as well in the past, bringing you to this present moment with that sorry, I keep saying Sagittarius, that Gemini card, right? The Maiden of Blades, that mutable air, that self-expression, communication, third house energy with the Emperor, taking control of that, or perhaps as well as, instead of not an either or, both that and, loosing lightning, loosing truth, loosing the arrows of light of truth into a situation. Leading to the Seven of Cups, perhaps more options are opened up, which is also indicated with the Wheel of Fortune. The Wheel of Fortune turns and new options are given, but with that keynote there of jealousy, whether it is yours or not, definitely a part of the fate, cannot be, feels like avoided if it is in your story, but probably not your own. And if it is, then you really do need to go deeper. You really do get that it's really all about that child hasn't gotten what it wanted, might have worked very hard, feels like it deserves it. But, you know, every child wants to drive a car, not until they're older, right? There's just certain things, certain things in timing, and the Wheel of Fortune, certainly a card of divine timing. So if there is a chomping of the bit, and I'm really feeling that in the solar plexus, even though, see, envy is the deadly sin of the third eye, I'm feeling this solar plexus. This is more about entitlement. Like, when the fuck is it my turn? I've worked my ass off. How come they get it and I don't? Fucking, you know what I mean? Feeling that in there. That's just part of the turn of the Wheel of Fortune. Love that. That might very well be covering up a deeper truth, one about yourself and one about this situation in general. Remember, the angels are talking here about abundance, that this might certainly involve money, but it can also be a bit dramatic, a bit extra, a bit of about everything, so to speak. Not much ado about nothing, a lot of bit about everything. Your higher self is saying, look to your inner strength. You're stronger than you realize. So your ability to endure this as a soul, right, to endure the journey, the detective process, the mystery, gathering clues, following the clues step by step, absolutely in play here. But look to your inner strength, which is often about the divine feminine resilience, which is strength and flexibility, to really take it one step at a time. And with that final card from the collective pantheons, her grace, that there is a true experience and opening here for you with the divine feminine within yourself. Feels more like, for this reading, could represent an actual person with divine feminine energy. I myself consider myself a divine feminine predominantly, but of course I have a balance of divine masculine, as do we all. This could be the goddess herself. This could be a spirit guide, as well as it could be your own divine feminine energy. That's part of the mystery, my Sagittarian detectives, right? Feels really good. So there we have it, my Sagittarians. A very, very powerful read for the path of true love, because it is a mystical path. It takes it takes intuition. It takes all walk the path of true love to become true love. That true love is the truth of who we are, but have we embodied it? Have we integrated it? Are we loving in all of our transactions with people, even silently? Right? This is the path of true love. It's a warrior's path. It takes immense strength, because you have to rely upon the strength of the soul, which is really indicated here, to look to your inner strength, in not just to get what we want, but to become who we came into this world to become, to allow life to transform us into who we are truly meant to be. Tricky shit. But that's why we have divination. And that's why I'm available for private reads too. Check out my description box below. I don't record the reading and send it to you. We can do it on Facebook Messenger or Skype, or even on the good old-fashioned telephone. Boop, boop, boop. Because I prefer the one-on-one communication. It's how I've been reading people since I'm 12 years old. I like this, doing it on YouTube and all of that, but there's nothing like looking into someone's eyes, tapping into them directly, and giving them the clarity that rises from the divine. That's what I do best. And that's what I'm offering you, should you need it. Should you need a little extra help, a little Watson to your Sherlock, if you will. Oh, Cumberbatch. I love him so much. He's married. Thank you so much for your time. Again, please like and subscribe. Share if you feel like there's somebody who needs it. Hit that notification bell. And may the Sagittarian Collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs be blessed with all that they need on the path of true love, to learn, to heal, to grow, to discover, to walk the path of mystery for their well-being and for the well-being of all. And so it is. Wishing you the very best and the very blessed, my Sagittarians. But for now, hail, farewell, and blessed be.